Tipsy Pudding, Trifle from the Food Pantry. William Hovey Smith, 2021.
This is Hovey Smith, the Backyard Sportsman. I have in front of me the relics of a food pantry distribution. This was given to a member of the working poor, and they in turn gave it to someone else, and they in turn gave it to me. So these are third-hand rejects, so to speak, for whatever reason. Now, some of it may be that the products were just so strange to the recipient that they didn't frankly know what to do with them. And that includes these canned guavas here. Unless you are of Hispanic or Caribbean origin, you probably don't know terrible much about guavas and have perhaps never even seen or heard of them. But nonetheless, we have 3 cans of guavas. This distribution also contained cake mixes with actually candy particles incorporated in the cake mix. Something that apparently did not sell awfully well, and so the store decided it was just time to dedicate that valuable shelf space to something that would sell. There were also containers of whole wheat small macaroni. And whole wheat macaroni doesn't taste as good as plain wheat macaroni to the great majority of people. And so I can sort of understand why perhaps that was tried once and not tried again. But we can do something with that. We also have some Italian spaghetti, more Italian spaghetti, flaked potatoes, rice, both long and medium grain, ramen noodles, scalloped potatoes, 2 packs of macaroni and cheese, and quick oats, as well as a rather crenulated can, but an okay can, of mushroom soup. What we're going to do over coming days is cook some of these things, particularly the more unusual things, and see if we can make something reasonable and edible out of them. Perhaps the reason they weren't eaten is because the recipients just frankly did not know what to do with them. Oh, forgot. And we have something familiar to almost all of you, except me, and that is Pop-Tarts. Well, I have heard of Pop-Tarts, but never in my entire life until now eaten one. Well, I have eaten one now. And if these have anything to do with pumpkin, I think that's purely coincidental. Although, they did have some seasonal things in this mix too. One for spice cake. And this unusual preparation, which is actually a tea, but is sold as a coffee latte that you mix half and half with milk, and turns out to be reasonably good, by the way. Too sweet, but reasonably good. And we have some pectin to make jelly, of which more a little later. This Funfetti Cake mix has a very simple recipe on the back, and it incorporates little small candy bits in it. But I'm going to see if I can sieve at least the coarsest of these out, as I really don't need the added sugar. And then we'll proceed to make up the rest of the cake. Now, I am being successful. Okay, that's a good lick. The recipe for the cake mix is very simple. 1 cup of water,
half a cup of oil, and I'm using canola oil, and 3 whole eggs. And we have, incidentally, removed all the little candy particles, and now we just mix. Now we are thoroughly beaten here. And we have our greased and floured pan. And a preheated oven at 350 degrees. That is pretty liquid. What I'm going to do with these guavas is to make a guava jelly and use it to make a Caribbean dish called Tipsy Pudding, which consists of a cake, whipped cream, strawberries, guava jelly, and a sweet wine, typically a sherry. We're going to crush these guavas into a paste and then add pectin, which they furnished us, by the way, and make the jelly. The guavas contain hard seed about the size of a number 6 shot. So I'm adding water and boiling the mix in the hopes of getting a cleaner separation from the seed, from the liquid and the pulp. I don't mind keeping the pulp, but I certainly don't want the hard seed. Well, it hath risen. But is it done? I think so. The cake overly rose due to the small size of the pan, and actually some spilled out in the oven itself that I'll have to clean out. So I should have split that between 2 pans, and in that event I would have been able to cook it less. But yeah, about 38 minutes, that seems to be about it. But we're going to sit it there and let it cool. Our guava preparation on the stove has boiled down to the fact that now a lot of it has separated, and I've also added some more cold water to let it cool before I try to filter it. When you're dealing with jellies, as they get thick and sugary, they stick and they give very terrible burns if you happen to scald yourself with this hot liquid. So, if you're going to strain, best let it cool and reheat rather than try to do it while it's hot. Now that our cake has been turned out and our liquid is cooled, we can strain our guava. Sugar and pectin are necessary ingredients to make a jelly. So we are going to add half a cup of sugar and half of one of these packets of pectin. Since this is very much an experimental effort, we poured up the pectin and sugar added juice into some glasses, and we will see if that will actually set. But there's no sense in jarring it up until I'm sure I've got the recipe right.
We are now ready to try our rendition of Funfetti Cake mix, minus the fetty, and make our Tipsy Pudding.
I'm an author, and in my outdoor books I have recipes in practical bow fishing, extreme muzzleloading, crossbow hunting, and backyard deer hunting. I also have some significant business books, the most recent of which is Make Your Own Job, Anytime, Anywhere, at Any Age, which just got an excellent review from the U.S. Review of Books, and they put it on their recommended list. My new novel, Until Death Do You Part, An American Family Meets Their Sicilian Cousins, is now also available on Amazon as a softcover, ebook, and as an audio book. These books need to be ordered now for Christmas delivery.
First, strawberries. Then, the cream. When this is put together in a trifle bowl, you have a little more room to work. Now our cake product. Guavas. Cream. Strawberries. We're running out of glass, so let's do the cake again. Guava syrup. Our cream. And we'll top with a maraschino cherry, if I've got one. Well, how did we do with our rendition of Tipsy Pudding? And our guava syrup, as it turned out, Well, we succeeded. You do taste the guava. You do taste the other components in the pudding. And I deem that a success, yes. I could serve this. Okay, so we have two renditions. One without the guava and one with, and I can certainly taste the difference between them. Now the question is, what else can you do with this cake? Well, almost anything. And one thing else to do is you can put something like applesauce on it. Now this is a homemade pear sauce, and so you can serve this over the top of your cake, like yay. Again, put a little dollop of Cool Whip on it. What? And you have another quite edible dessert made from your Funfetti Cake mix, without the footage. This is Hovey Smith, reminding you to hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Be legal, be ethical, be safe. Goodbye, God bless, and see you next time. I jarred up the guava syrup in sterile jars for long-term storage so I can make the dish this Christmas season. Now this jelly did not set because I did not add nearly enough sugar. When canning, take extra care not to scald yourself. For more information about my books, blogs, and some 900 videos, go to my website, www.hoveysmith.com. For more information about my business books, go to makeyourownjobsecurity.com. To find out about my novel, screenplay, and movie project, go to fatherthegrooms.net. To purchase my books, ebooks, and audiobooks for Christmas delivery, order now. Hunt what you eat and eat what you hunt. Goodbye and God bless.